Hi everybody, it's REYNA and you are watching the What Happens. Before we get started, I just briefly want to say thank you so much for viewing my other YouTube videos. This is such a new journey for me, something I've always had a passion for, and I just want to say thank you. So today we're going to be talking about Alexandria Lowitzer and what happened to Ali. She preferred to be called Ali or AJ, but during this segment we are going to be calling her Ali. So we're going to go ahead and get started. On February 3rd, 1994, Ali was born to Joanne Lowitzer, her mother, and her father. Now, Ali also had a brother named Mason Lowitzer, who was not her father's biological son. However, he was very much involved with both of their lives, and even though they were actually separated during her disappearance, he remained always involved in Ali's life. That was actually his only daughter. He loved her so very much, and so did Joanne Lowitzer. On this particular date, on April 26, 2010, which is a little over 10 years ago now, Ali was riding the bus home from school, which she attended Spring High School, which is north of Houston. And this particular day was just like any other day. Now, Ali actually had forgot her house key at home. So on the way home from school, she actually contacted her mom and informed her she forgot her house key. Now, this is not anything unusual. Ali had actually forgot her house key a few times during the school year, and normally her mother would contact her brother Mason just to ask him to please stay there a little bit longer until Ali arrived, or just to keep the door unlocked until she arrived. But one of them always stayed there until Ali was home. So during this time, Ali also made a phone call or a text message to a friend that she was actually seeing at the time, and just wanted to see if he wanted to hang out, play basketball, do things like that. Ali, according to her friends and family, she was very creative, she was very artsy, she had a lot of friends. Her mother finally reluctantly agreed to allowing Ali to walk to work to pick up her paycheck. That was the last that Ali's mother or anybody has ever heard from her, ever. Now, let that sink in for a moment and think about this. Your mother, your child asked you if they could do something, you're already reluctant, and you kind of just beat yourself up every day. And that's what Ali's mom does every day. And as a mother, it's hard for her, but she can't do that. It's not her fault. It's the person it's whatever happened to Ali. If somebody did something or kidnapped her, it's that person's fault. And I think Ali's mom feels a lot of guilt to this. Now, Ali's mom does have a Facebook. She does have a Facebook. I follow her on Facebook. She's a little upset because she's, bothered that, hey, Ali never called me. So she immediately calls Ali. Nobody ever answered the phone. So then she begins to get a little worried. A few hours goes by and she contacts her dad, Ali's dad, and he had not actually spoke to her. He actually told her just to kind of calm down and Ali would be home the next morning, things like that. Well, Ali's mother immediately drove to the burger barn to check if Ali was actually at work. But to her surprise, and obviously to her disadvantage, is that the burger barn was actually closed already for the night. So she called the dad and said, look, something's going on. She called her ex-husband and said, they're already closed. What do we need to do? So they immediately contact a constable's office near the area. Being that my husband is in law enforcement, he takes missing people's cases, well, actually all his cases, very serious. So it was really sad for me to hear that the constables who were actually working this case kind of just dismissed it and said, well, maybe she's just ran away, maybe she needs to clear her head, maybe she's at a friend's house. Kind of gave them all of these ideas that made them think that Ali was going to be back the next morning. But her mother and her father knew something happened. Something was not right. Ali's never done this. She's never spent the night at a friend's house and not tell them. She's never walked to work. Everything. As you can only imagine, her mother, Joanne, is just continuously living in regret. She regrets allowing her daughter to walk to work. She regrets telling her yes. She should have just told her no, because in her defense, she strongly believes that Ali would have just never have gone missing. And sadly, you know, I have done several missing cases report, and a lot of the parents always say, I should have said this differently. I should have done this differently. But, you know, sometimes not even sometimes, all the time, it is not your fault as a parent. You shouldn't live in any type of regret or anything like that, because we tend to think that nothing is going to happen to our children, to ourselves. And so I understand her being a mom was just willing to allow her daughter just to go to work. She really thought she was going to go to work and come back. Sadly, that just did not happen. Ali was already 16 years old. So of course, officers really didn't take this case too serious until she for sure never came home a few days later. And to this day, Ali is still missing. They've checked the phone records. They've checked out all of the possible evidence that came their way. They've checked her phone records, as I stated, and nothing has came up to anything. Ali is still missing. Her mother and her father actually hired a private investigator. Now, Houston is #1 for sex trafficking. And of course, there is a possibility that Ali could have been sex trafficking, you know, here in Houston. So they hired a private investigator named Amber. Now, Amber has been working with the Lowitzer family for quite some time now. And she actually is very good at her job. She's actually thought she saw Ali one time at a house, at a vacant home where a lot of sex trafficking was going on. She immediately contacted the police department. This was not in the Houston area. This was way out of Houston. And I do not want to talk too much about this, just because it is still an open investigation regarding this allegation that's going on. But Ali was not found there. She could, you know, Amber swears that she saw Ali that particular night, but when the cops went up there, she was nowhere to be found. People actually did, though, recognize Ali through the pictures, and according to the private investigator, that many people came forward stating that they have actually seen Ali there in this area. So her mom strongly believes that Ali is still out there. She never is giving up hope. She continues to observe Ali's anniversary day as a holiday, and just kinds to send hope. She continues to hope that one day Ali does come back, and of course any parent would. She also states that she will never give up, because she feels, and I quote, "If I give up, then that means that my child will then give up." And so she does not want Ali to give up. None of us do. So if you have any information, please contact your local police department or contact 713-222-TIPS. You can remain anonymous as well, of course, and give any information, because as you may know, there might have been, just to shed some light, something that could have happened years ago. Something that could have happened that you remembered. A car sitting out here near the Low Ridge area where the bus dropped off Ali. Vehicle, and you don't remember. And that has happened, where people will reflect back and say, oh my gosh, I remember that day. I remember seeing a suspicious car. So any little key evidence that you may have, please feel free to bring it up. Do not ever hesitate to contact your authorities. Don't ever hesitate to contact anybody that is going to be dealing with missing people, or if you witnessed a crime. So again, home, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've posted here, so please feel free to view those videos, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all, and happen to me.